Okay, guys, I wanted to bring up something that I've noticed on YouTube lately, and that is that there are a lot of comparison videos coming out between the Equinox and the Deus 2. Just a couple of things that for people that are going to be getting a Deus 2 and maybe want to do some of these comparisons. One thing that I would strongly suggest doing before you do anything is to make sure that you read the manual. Get that manual ahead of time, get familiar with the settings, the programs, what the filters are on some of these different programs, what the settings are on these programs, and so on, because I think that would help in these comparisons. So when you do these tests eventually, that you can really get a good idea about what both machines are actually doing. So I would strongly suggest looking at those manuals before you do any testing or comparison videos. I think that would be great. Instead of just getting your machine, pulling it out, and then trying to compare it to the Equinox, the same day or the next day without really knowing much about some of the settings and how to, operate the menu and so on. So that's one thing I wanted to bring up. And the other thing is something that Calabash Digger mentioned on his channel, and that is silent EMI. So if you are going to be doing a comparison video between the two machines, is to make sure that you turn the Equinox off. The Equinox and the Deus 2 do not like each other. In some cases, you can hear the sounds coming through on your headphones or on the machine. So that can be an issue, but sometimes you can't hear the EMI. So it can actually blind the Deus 2, and we've seen that in a couple of tests and in a couple of situations where when we had a Deus and a Deus 2 and a Minelab Equinox in the same setting, that the Equinox was actually blinding the Deus 2. Cut the Equinox off and it was fine. One thing too that you could do if you are having that situation happen, if you do have one on or whatever, you can actually do a frequency shift. This is like doing a noise cancel. So if you do that frequency shift and getting it off of the same frequency maybe that Minelab machine is on, then that could possibly help. But my recommendations would be is to cut the machine completely off. If you're going to be doing a comparison video, I think that would be great. And finally, just a couple of things about the Deus 2 that we've noticed. And I think, especially in identifying targets, the Deus 2 has been really good at identifying targets, not only with the VDI, but also the tonal differences in it. And I think if you run that machine in full tones, that you can get a better recognition of what those targets are. Running it in 5 and 3 and so on sometimes doesn't give you those tonal nuances that you need in order to sort of figure out what those targets are, and that can help in identifying them. So definitely full tones and the pitch mode too. I think it just gives you better ID recognition, and I think that gives it an advantage over the Equinox. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, of course, the ergonomics of the Deus 2, which I've mentioned before in videos, that the ergonomics of the Deus 2, it's lightweight, whereas the Equinox tends to be a little bit nose heavy. So that's another thing too that sort of swayed me towards the Deus 2. And then the final thing is that I've used this in a couple of different situations. I've used it in heavy iron. It performed excellent. I dug 1818 large cent. Used it on the beach. I've dug some rings so far. I've dug a gold ring so far. And it's just been excellent in all those situations. For me, it's just the best machine for what I like to do. I mean, it does everything that I ask. I think it just performs really well in the situations that I put it in. I'm a relic hunter first, so I love being out in the woods. I love being in iron. So I think it helps me in that iron. It's one of the best iron machines out there. It has the fastest recovery. It can pick targets out of iron better than any machine that I've ever seen. Again, really good in iron. On the beach, again, depth, quiet. It does all the things that I would expect it to do on the beach. Really impressed with it on the beach. So I think, again, beach hunters are really going to appreciate this machine when they get their hands on it. And I've said that a couple of times too as well. But just remember, as your machines start to come in, which I'm hearing more and more people getting their emails saying their machines are on the way and they'll be there in the next few days and so on. But as it comes in, if you're coming straight over from an Equinox to a Deus 2, one thing I would strongly recommend is reading that manual a little bit early. Watch some videos of people that have used it and have been using it for the last few months. Get an idea of what some of those settings are, some of those programs are, and then go out and use it yourself and start playing around with those things and get familiar with those things. And then if you want to do a comparison video, it's totally up to you. But there are a lot of them out there. I have an Equinox, I have a Deus 2, I have a Deus 1, I have a Vanquish. I've used all of those machines, but to me right now, this machine is outperforming all of those other machines, hands down. That's just the truth. And I've been really impressed with it. I think you guys are going to be impressed with it. If you've ordered one and you get one in your hands, I think you're going to find it to be a really good machine. I think you're going to enjoy it. And I hope if you've got one on pre-order that it's going to be here really soon. So just want to pass that stuff along to you guys. I hope everyone's having a great week. I apologize for my absence. I had COVID last week, so I'm sort of getting over that. That's why I haven't been out lately, but hope to be getting out real soon and making some videos out in the wild. So hopefully that'll be happening soon. And again, if you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys are, again, having a fantastic week and you get out and have a great hunt.